Being a programming major, I have released a lot of bad apps, but I've never released them publicly, and even if I did, I would not charge $12 a month to unlock its full potential. But MKBHD managed to do just that. He released the bad app and he's charging a hefty price for it. Let's just watch the release intro video he made for the app.
You guys have always been asking me where I get my wallpapers. Like, it's frequently the #1 suggested search result under my name, has been for years, so now we've put them all in one place. It's called Panels, and it's finally live in the App Store, both on iOS and on Android. Feels really good to be able to say that. So if you're wondering where the wallpaper on these phones in the review came from, Panels. If you're wondering where the wallpaper in the last video came from, Panels. Matter of fact, almost all of the wallpapers on the devices and in backgrounds you've seen in my videos for the past year have all come from Panels, which is pretty sick. We have a bunch of awesome artists over there that we are splitting profits with 50-50, and there's already a ton of great collections of art and much more incoming. And we have some pretty big plans for this thing. So it's starting off as a wallpaper app now. I don't want to overpromise too much, but it's going to be pretty consistently improving over time, which is part of the reason why we're offering a subscription to support it. So go pick it up now. Poke around, find your new favorite wallpaper, your new favorite artist, and let me know what you think. It's kind of fun to be on the other side now, on the development side, where now other people are going to review what we make, which is always exciting.
Well, the tech community tried and tested it. They did not agree with the pricing, but it doesn't matter because a lot of them figured out how to get past it, past all of this, and just get access to the HD versions of the wallpapers for free. And my friend managed to recreate the app, a web-based version of it, in under 20 minutes by just prompting an AI, and he wrote 0 lines of code. I'll show you how all of this happened. There are quite a few reasons as to why the app turned out to be as bad as it is. Well, the first, the obvious one, is that they rushed development. My theory is that they did it so that it lines up with the iPhone 16 review video, which is where they released it. Well, it tends to get the most engagement. They get the most amount of people sign up because of it. Another reason could be they try to save on cost. The app is badly ported. I forgot what language it was. It was some React Native parallel, I believe. I don't remember exactly what. But a lot of people are praising them for having it be launched on Android and iOS at the same time. While it is kind of a big feat, it's a very simple app that they did not make natively for either of the two platforms. Still, I credit where credit is due. It came out on both. They almost definitely did not user test it or beta test it, or basically any kind of testing before release did not happen clearly because there are a lot of UI heuristics problems. It's basically when you open the app, how it interacts, when you click on something, does it work like it's supposed to? All of those things are kind of broken down, not working as they should. A lot of times you end up in places you don't expect to. Another kind of a very improbable but a possibility is that he and his team did not realize how bad it actually is. Sometimes you bring in developers or developers reach out and they want to host your content or have you market the app that they build. This one is a little far-fetched. Usually you get a sense of how good or bad the app is, and since he's a tech reviewer and he's kind of critical, the humane pin and all of that, he probably knew, and the rush development because of iPhone 16 is, I think, because of this, a lot more probable, but we'll probably never know unless he actually ends up sharing it. But moving on to how the community responded, well, some people like the wallpapers. They are actually genuinely good wallpapers, most of them. Well, except for some orange and blue backgrounds. That's literally just hex throughout the thing. There's no gradient, there's nothing. I don't understand that one. Which makes them kind of cash grabs. I don't understand why that is a paid wallpaper, but moving on. Like I said initially, it's $12 a month or $50 a year. That's the pricing. It's on par with some streaming services, actually most of them. I don't understand why it's priced as it is. In the same video that he shared the app with us on YouTube, he said this.
If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Never buy a product based on the promise of future software updates. Buy it for what it is right now when you buy it. That's been the golden rule for forever. But yet, here we are.
And again, going back to what he said in the intro for the Panels app, he said this.
And we have some pretty big plans for this thing. So It's starting off as a wallpaper app now. I don't want to overpromise too much, but it's going to be pretty consistently improving over time, which is part of the reason why we're offering a subscription to support it. So go pick it up now. Poke around.
Well, it doesn't quite add up. He should listen to his own advice, I guess. But it doesn't matter anyway because of what I'm about to show you. That's a GitHub repo. I'm going to discuss all of these things. The wallpapers are publicly available on the internet. Like you put a URL or a link, you just find the wallpapers on the internet. They're not stored on some secure servers or anything. It's just out there on the internet. You just know how to look for them. And you can do it through Panels API, which means it's not piracy, it's not legal. It's actually the developers and MKBHD's team's fault, which is just wild. Moving on to how they can be accessed for free, I am not psyched about sharing this stuff. Well, they were made by artists. The ones that are mostly made by AI or are just solid backgrounds, I'm not talking about those. Some are mostly photography or graphic design. Artists are usually underpaid anyway, and with the 50-50 split, I guess it's kind of in that category on this app also. They're not compensated properly, which sucks, but the development and MKBHD teams, they messed up. So it's their fault and the information is out there anyway. So if I can look for it and I can find it, you can also. You just have to Google it. So I'll just show it to you. Not very much in depth because code tends to be boring, but let's go. So the first quote unquote exploit is that all of the links are publicly available. The developers messed up, like I said. So most apps, how they would work is, especially if there's any paid content, is that you pay for the thing and the app talks to the server side. They kind of do a handshake, they agree, okay, the payment was made, now you get access to everything. And then the app shows it to you or you have access to it through your account. What's happening here is it's already available on your app, and if you manage to just understand the code, you can just open these links, which I'll do for you right now. So again, that is one of their wallpapers, quite messed up. And again, it's proper public URL, so you are allowed to access them, even download things. It's still under copyright, obviously, so you can't just distribute or probably monetize on it. But you're allowed to access these links. There's nothing wrong with just accessing them. But this is not as fun as the other thing that I'm going to show you. So this user on GitHub wrote a script called MKBHD. It's in Node.js or Python. You run it and it downloads every single wallpaper that is available on the app on your laptop. It maybe takes a minute depending on your internet connection, but it just happens automatically. Wherever the script is, it'll make a new folder called downloads there, and it'll download 378 images in the folder, which is a lot of them. I also managed to find the blue wallpapers, so I consider myself lucky. So I'm going to show you how to do this, but don't really misuse it or just, use the wallpapers for free. Or wallpapers are supposed to be free, whatever. It just comes from artists who want to be compensated properly. It's the developer's fault and the artist should not be penalized for it. Doesn't matter. I'll show it to you anyway because it's out there. So I downloaded the .js file. As you can see, the terminal's open, and if you just put in this command, and you can see that there's no folder there, but if you just do this, it says MKBHD, sorry. Well, see, it downloads folder has been made, and it keeps going and going and going and going. And it just downloads everything. I believe wallpaper 231 is the orange. Let's wait for that to come up and kind of prove it to you that it is essentially the same set of wallpapers, because the orange one happens to be infamous right now. Okay, a decent chunk of them have been downloaded. It's almost there, but as you can see, 231. I think that's a gradient, or maybe that's just a hex. Maybe I can't tell properly. Either way, it's not, they shouldn't be charging for this. And here's the blue one. I don't know what they're doing. And yeah, all of it's been downloaded now. A total of 378. So the code has the standard definition and HD separately through different links. You don't need to understand that. Basically, they're going to be copies of the same image, I think. So you're going to have the lower resolution and the higher resolution, which also reminds me, MKBHD has this thing where HD is in his name, high definition, and an app that he backs has an SD version, standard definition. But I get that, you want to make a profit out of it, or the artist should be compensated and all of that, sure. But just have it be by default HD anyway, and then you pay to unlock 4K or even 8K if that makes sense. However it works out, it shouldn't be SD because that's out of branding, which is why the GitHub repo is kind of funny because it's MKBHD. It's kind of a joke towards him, which makes me want to show you the GitHub repo. It's kind of funny how it's laid out. So that's the GitHub repo. Again, it's MKBSSD, whatever. And he's given instructions on how to use. I showed you the Node.js version. So what is the story? They have kind of outlined it. If you've been following this whole thing on Twitter, X, whatever, I call it Twitter. Don't be a hater. Or if you followed on YouTube or Reddit or whatever, this is kind of like the summary or an overview. So they've written, had insanely invasive, unjustified tracking, including for location history and search history. Charge artists a predatory 50% commission. Even Apple takes 30% for app purchases. And Apple is kind of shat on a little bit for this. So yeah, 50-50 split, I don't understand. Force you to watch 2 ads for every wallpaper that you wanted to download and then only letting you download it in SD. Again, this guy has it out for the SD. Gate kept all HD wallpapers behind a $50 a year subscription or $12 a month. Add many wallpapers that were essentially AI generated, slop or badly edited stock photos. Totally agreed. Especially given MKBHD previous criticism of substandard companies and products, people justifiably got upset given that this looked like a pretty blatant grift and cash grab that is exploitative of the fan base that's trusted his editorial integrity over the past 15 years. However, on the same day, MKBHD wrote a post doubling down on the app. Question, aren't you stealing from artists by running the script? Like I said, no, but let's read what this person has to say. MKBHD accesses publicly available media through Panels app's own API. It doesn't do anything shady or illegal. The real problem here is Panels and MKBHD's completely inability to provide a secure platform for the artists that they are exploiting, working with. Any other app could have avoided the issue that make MKBHD possible had it been engineered competently. The license is what gets me. If you don't understand GitHub repos, doesn't matter. It's just kind of you telling the world out there what you can do with this code that someone else wrote. This person said, do whatever you want to public license. The copyright, the person's name. Everyone is permitted to copy and distribute verbatim or modified copies of this license document, and changing it is allowed as long as the name is changed. The MKBHD name or even the person's name, you should change both. Do what you want to public license terms and conditions for copying, distribution, modification. 0. You just do what you want. Well, that says a lot. I am a big wallpapers person. I just like to have all of them there. I don't change them all that much, but my Twitter feed is full of wallpaper recommendations. That's basically all I use it for. And sometimes news, but I mostly get that through news apps and YouTube. Well, I respect MKBHD a lot. He's kind of who I look up to. Even my outro sign-off thing is kind of based on his. Given how easy it is for YouTubers to get in the middle of problems like with Lunchly and stuff, I don't care about that. It gets kind of overwhelming, I'm sure, for them, and even as audience we tend to kind of pile on and bash on things. See, he probably genuinely did not know or understand how the development side of things could break down quality control, stuff like that. It was his first time. He is a good, respectable person. The other stuff that he made, the atoms and stuff, not a big fan, but they were pretty decent as far as I could tell. Kind of expensive for my taste. This app has a lot of potential. Just clean up the AI and the solid backgrounds. Again, we gotta see it. Nope. Just kind of streamline it, make the UI better, have better artists. Come on, compensate them properly. I don't know, 70-30, 80-20, whatever split works. The artists get the majority share, if that wasn't clear. I just hope that all of this is taken mostly as educational. Don't misuse this wallpaper stuff. Even I intend to delete all of this. You don't need to have these wallpapers that were made by other people. Maybe keep the solid background if you want. That's just my opinion. But the other stuff kind of get rid of. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get 2,000 subscribers. And that is it for this video. See you in the next one. PS out.